Alright, you're looking at the Mullet custom Infinity race board. It's made to look like the Steve McQueen race car. Those guys can make any color. They're pretty insane. As you can see from the nose is a little different color, and some of the pin lines are gone. That's because this came off of the roof of a car at about 50 miles an hour on a major road, and it's been repaired brilliantly by Dr. Ding. It's got a 2.5-inch drop deck, and it lowers your center of gravity, so you have a little bit more balance to accommodate for the 26-inch width. The drop deck has what you're looking at is a little Venturi scupper system, like you'd see on a surf ski or it drains the water. This deck pad is absolutely dry when I'm paddling, especially when I'm in the water paddling. I actually have tie downs right here that I put my GPS watch on, so I can watch how fast I'm going at any particular time. So when I'm making changes in my paddle stroke, or if I hit slow water, I can tell immediately. It's got a great handle, and the back is sprayed. I actually am not a big fan of the bath mat. I'm going to be removing this and putting a full length deck pad, just because we're in the surf a lot here, and as you step back onto the sprayed part, it's just not as much of a feel, and you're not exactly sure where to stop. So I'm going to put a deck pad that goes all the way back, and also have a stomp pad on there. I'm not going to be doing any off the lips, but it does help you know where the end of that board is. Also not doing any black deck pads anymore. We've been finding that in the summer, a lot of these black deck pads, boards have been delaminating under the black deck pads. They get super hot. I don't think that's a problem with this deck pad, and I know this board isn't delaminated at all, but I'm going to replace this with probably a white sticky bumps deck pad. It's got a little bit more texture. Some people don't like that on their feet, but I get monkey toes, so that's good. You can see the nose is the canoe nose and destroyer nose, and this is it's like their piercing bow. It works really well. I'm actually going to just flip this over real quick. This is the carbon strip. It goes the full length of the board. I actually have an Allison fin here. This is the Paddle Core Fitness. I like this one. It's a sort of a weedless, and doesn't have a lot of drag, but it feels a little bit more like a surf fin to me. So I like that on this board. The Gladiator hybrid fin works real well on this as well. And I'm working on whether moving this up or back makes much of a difference, but for me at my level, it's hard for me to really tell you the truth. Here's the hole for the bottom of the scupper. It actually draws water out great. I think there's very minimal drag. This thing's super fast in the flat water. The reason that Steve Bain put the carbon strip there is he's finding with the 14s that making them out of all carbon is not really that beneficial. Making them super light isn't as important as we probably thought. There's a point at which they're so light that when the wind or chop hits them, it slows the board down. So there's sort of a sweet spot between when something is too light and when something's the right weight. You won't want to be too heavy because it's like pulling a tank, but this thing, I don't know exactly how much it weighs. It's probably somewhere in the 20 to 30 pound range, right around there. Again, it's probably average to light. The carbon strip, again, is to add a little bit more strength and decrease some of the flex in the board. I haven't noticed much flex in this board at all. I'm not actually powering through giant waves on this thing, so I don't think that is an issue. The wide tail, the flat tail, is really nice. The water comes off super clean and super flat when you're in the right spot on the board. It also makes it, from what I understand, super easy to draft. Not that anybody's been trying to catch up to me or drafting me, but other people that have this tail like to draft it's easy to draft off it. This is about a 14.5-inch wide tail. I think going to 26 inches, the idea of pulling this tail out flat is that it will be a little bit more stable. Also, it has pretty hard rails in the back. I've actually surfed this board, and it's a lot of fun to surf because you have a lot more control once you get to that back section, and you pop that nose out. So I've found that's been really helpful. One thing you might want to notice is there's a ridge that comes out from the nose about 4 to 5 feet back, and that ridge, I think that helps me track a little bit better. It's almost like having a fin setup, like a fin box up there, which I actually considered putting in this at one point. I'm still wondering if I'm going to do that sub dagger fin system on this, just because it'll help with some lateral stability. And again, I don't think this has a tracking problem, so that's not something that I'd want to solve anyway. So this is a custom Infinity. It's just a few months old, and this is I think I got it in September of 2011, and you know, you'll see a lot of variations of this in different models, but I'm super happy with this, especially on flat water. At 26 inches wide, it's a little tough in crazy choppy conditions, but then again, I'm not like Rocky the Flying Squirrel. It's hard for me to I have pretty good balance, and I'm only about 180 pounds, so it's not like I'm a super big guy or super small guy, but I've found that this thing is works really well in most conditions, but mostly flat water and inlets and the areas that we have in the Intercoastal Waterway here. So Infinity Custom 14 foot, 26 wide, and the 2.5-inch drop deck.